So hello and welcome to this week's angling blog. This week you join me out on the bank and we're in search of pike. So as you can see, we are joined on the bank today by Willow. She's wasted no time at all in sniffing out all the little places that probably foxes and badgers have been, but I'm super excited to finally have her out on the bank again for another session. She was out with me a couple of weeks ago on the banks of the canal in search of pike, but sadly that morning we didn't get any fish on the bank. Tactics wise, the same rods as last time. The Elite deadbait rods, 12 foot, 3.25 pound test curve on both rods. Tactics wise, I've got a ledger out on the bottom and I've got a float rod as well. Just going to see how Willow does today. This gives me plenty of water should I get some time to explore with the lure. I'm not going to put that other rod out today, I don't think. There we go. It's on that lure. You've just seen the float go, I think. It's the first run of the day. I've been targeting the right hand side of the swim today, really. I don't know how that pike has missed me ledger on the inside there. It proper took off that pike did, and I always think when pike take off like that, there might be one or two more about. But that hasn't taken too long to get the first run. Oh, behind me, I'm dying to see what she's going to make of it when she sees what it'd be the first fish she's ever seen. So there we go. No sooner had I done that intro than you see now I was having to go on the lure and the float rod was away. And what a lovely start to a session. Brought Willow out with me today, and as you can see on screen now, her first ever fish, and she was dead intrigued. See behind me, she's having a bit of a sniff around. Let's get this beautiful pike straight back. So as starts the sessions go, I always say you come for one, and we've got one. Willow's met her first ever pike. That's a great start to a day. Having a dog with me is something new, and I'm very conscious of obviously dead baits being smelly. It's a hound dog and hooks. So the beauty of this spot is you can get the net in the edge, and that pike are just unhooked in the margin here and then brought it up the bank to blog. So great to get on the mark, and regulars to the channel know we always celebrate with a celebratory brew, and Willow can tuck into her breakfast. A beautiful dog. She really is coming along well. You know, beautiful to have around the house. You know, can sit, give you the paw, and yeah, can't imagine life now without her, and I can't wait for the adventures to come. To enjoy this brew, sit back. Like I always say, you come for one, and if you get one, you're happy. Willow seems happy, and a happy Danny. I'm going to sit back and just chill out. Float rod back out. No sooner as I've put it out, the ledger has just pulled out the clip. Out there, just sitting in that breeze. We've got a bend in the rod again. You can hear Willow behind. She doesn't really like you leaving her at the moment, being a puppy. On the last session on here, we know there's plenty of weed down our margin. You've got to try and keep it up. That looks like a lovely pike, certainly looks like a double. And at this time of year, they have plenty of power. Especially when they're coming out of deep water. There's been some great battles underneath the rod tip. Again, this looks like a nice pike. You can see there the angry eye of a pike in autumn coming to the bank, and that is a nice pike indeed. See that nice big head. That's a lovely pike, that. So on a recent session on here, we had plenty of quality, and I had a feeling that there'd be better fish about. This one, the best one so far out of this campaign, 16 pound, 10 ounces. It's a beautiful fish, solid, great condition, coming on the ledger, and yeah, Willow was a bit surprised when I pulled this out the landing net. So proper buzzing with that pike. You can see how many sips of me brew I took before the second run come. And this most definitely is a very cold celebratory brew, but there's plenty more tea in the flask. Willow's just finishing off her breakfast because she followed me down to the rod. That's what puppies do, don't they? They want to be with you all the time. I'm going to sit back, finish this brew. Float rod's back out on the spot, and the ledger is back out as well, so fingers crossed we could pick up another pike. But as a start to a session goes, you know, a 16 and a high single, buzzing, absolutely buzzing. It's great to be finally out on the bank with my little girl. Cheers. For those new to piking and wanting to give it a go, I'll go over the basic tools that I carry when I'm unhooking pike. Obviously you need an unhooking mat. This is a nice big one, plenty of padding, but that goes without saying in this day and age. Invest in a good pair of forceps in the last few years. These lock at the end and Willow's trying to eat them. A good set of wire cutters, thing that you carry that you hope you're never going to have to use, but you know, if you've got a hook that's difficult, you can break your hooks up and get them out. Use it very rarely, but you need to have it with you, and when you need it, you're thankful of it. And then a good set of pliers or forceps. Again, you can see, done me a number of years these. Invest in them, in the quality, and they'll last you. But they're the basic 3 bits of equipment I carry for unhooking pike. And that's the float just disappearing away on another run. And I was hoping to spend a bit of time chilling with Willow today. The pike have got other matters. You can see that float's just slid away. I'm into another pike on the float. It's been a manic start to the session, most definitely. So 2 things at the moment are very apparent. 1, I can't finish my brew. And 2, I can't keep a rod in the water. The float rod slid away. And again, quality, solid fish. Just creeping over 10 pound. They're all in excellent condition, and if you look at them, solid across the head and shoulders. In winter, when they've got a bit more in them, you can have a very, very good day's fishing. Beautiful colours as always, and we'll get this beautiful pike straight back. And like I always say, it doesn't matter how manic the fishing gets, you've got to give them a good rest in the margin before you let them go. You see there the beautiful colours on it. We'll give him a good rest, we'll get the rod rebaited and back out, and then we'll think about letting him go. Before we cast the rod back out, we'll have a quick look at the setup that we're using for the float ledger. I've got 2 float stops on the line. That goes down to a bead, it's down to a balsa float, and whenever I can get away with these, I always use them. They're the most sensitive float. You see bites straight away. That's down to a quick change sinker from Fox, quick change swivel, and then my homemade wire trace down to the bait. Like with all my fishing, I keep it super simple, like on the rivers. Start easy and only complicate it if you have to. And again, super thanks to Devon Baits for supporting the channel this year. I say they need no words, did he? Quality bait, and the results are showing. So it feels like we've not had a moment just to sit down and chill with the little girl. It's been a manic start. It is about 11 o'clock now. We didn't get on the bank till a bit later after the school run. I'm going to sit down and have a drink, maybe a few treats, and a celebratory cup of tea. Been a manic start, but you can't complain, you know. There'll be days where the rods don't move, like I said on the previous session, so you can't complain. But it has been a bit manic, but this brew is going to taste super sweet. The next hour has been quite quiet. Mrs. Mischief is up to her old tricks. I've managed to get 1 or 2 warm brews down me, and we've just had a bit of a calamity. We had a run, stuck into it, and was playing the pike, and then I was joined next to the water by Houdini, who slipped the lead. Oh, I've never been so panicked in my life. She stayed with me, and sadly the pike come off, but yeah, when they're a puppy, it's hard to be upset with them, isn't it? But she has just cost me a pike. So piking through the years, I've had a few things happen to me, but one thing that I've never ever had happen was I was just sat there chilling out, and the rod screamed off, and the tip was banging like mad, like a cart run. I looked up and a grebe was flapping along the top, and I can honestly say I've never ever in all the years had a grebe, or a cormorant for that matter, pick up a bait. So into the afternoon, the rods remained defiantly quiet, the floats stagnant in the water. Me and Willow sat back and chilled out. I had plenty of cups of tea, and Willow a nice nap. It It was really enjoyable just sitting back and watching her reaction to nature around her, especially when a flock of geese went overhead. Her look of confusion will live with me for a long time. It really was a beautiful time on the bank with my new best mate. So fishing wise today, we've ended with 3 pike, a 9-pounder, a 16-pound pike, and one just over 10. So a lovely day's fishing on the bank. So all that remains now is for me and Willow to wish you all tight lines in your own fishing, and we'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.